Good morning and welcome to the Zoom service of UUCC, the Unitarian Church of Canandaigua. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua is a congregation that fosters personal and spiritual growth through religious exploration in search of the truth while celebrating diversity and affirming the worth and dignity of every person. We're glad that you are joining us. I'm Danielle Lyon, and this is Thomas Lyon, your worship coordinators. Our speaker today is our longtime member and former president of UUCC, Dorothy Hoskins. We have a few announcements for you today. The board will be meeting today after the service. Contact Brandon Steele if you are interested in attending and don't already have the information. And then in preparation for opening our church in the fall, there will be 2 cleaning days coming up. Saturday, August 14th from 10 until noon, hosted by Laura and Brandon. And then Sunday, August 29th from 4 until 6 p.m., hosted by Pat Harris. With the transition back to in-person services, we will be needing help from worship associates for the services starting in September. And anyone who has done it before and is interested in jumping back into the role, or anybody who's curious and wants to try it out for the first time, please email Thomas at tflyon@gmail.com for more information.
All right, now is a time when we enter a space for worship.
If you have a chalice at home, now is the time to pull it out.
All right. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs.
We light this beacon of hope, sign of quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
We will have a it's magic.
Welcome to the UU Church of Canandaigua's Humanist Hour. I define humanism as the belief that humans create religion, morality, and ethics to serve our own needs. I don't believe there are sacred texts inspired by gods. I believe that there are texts humans have created which express their understanding of human history and try to find meaning in it. For a few decades, there's been a new branch of philosophy called neurophilosophy, primarily promulgated by the Canadian philosopher Paul Churchland and his neuroscientist wife, Patricia Churchland. The Churchlands try to explain some of human behavior, including what we call morality, in terms of brain chemistry and activity. In the words of Paul Churchland, we do have an organ for understanding and recognizing moral facts. It is called the brain. Now let's welcome ourselves with a song by the UU troubadour, Jim Scott, adapted for our times.
I wrote this song 30 years ago so my friend Pat Lamana could give it this contemporary message. Gather in spirit, not face to face. Let's do what we can to flatten the curve. Wash your hands often and don't touch your face. This virus is something no one deserves. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. too long. There's so many ways to sweeten the time. Take up crochet, write a new song, read a good book, make brownies sublime. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Gather in spirit, pray for the scared, the sick and the poor, the lonely at home. Count all your blessings and reach out and share. Let everyone know that they're not alone. Gather in Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends.
We are a community that holds one another in our celebrations and our pain. Please share your joys and sorrows in the chat box in the Zoom window there. Know that whatever's on your heart, we are with you. For the joys and sorrows shared and those held in your heart, know that we are with you. We especially want to recognize welcoming members near and far, traveling near and far, as well as family health issues and personal issues that we are all traveling through. We hold these and all others in the biggest feelings of our heart.
Now is the time in our service to join together in the spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts support our church in its work. That work is summarized in our covenant. The covenant for UUCC says, in service of the values that unite us, we will recognize the inherent value of each person, foster a community of compassion and caring for all, value our diverse opinions, and engage respectfully in all interactions. If you would like to give to this morning's offering, you can give online at canandaiguauu.org/connect or physically by mailing a check to the church. In either case, note if you'd like your gift to go toward the Sunday offering or your pledge. We'll share 25% of the Sunday offerings with our service partner. This month, the designated offering recipient chosen by Team 6 for August 2021 is the Finger Lakes Watershed Alliance. The purpose of the Finger Lakes Regional Watershed Alliance are to bring together the members, expertise, and desires of the Finger Lakes Watershed Associations to preserve and protect their watersheds with a collective regional voice, to join forces to advocate for mutually beneficial regional changes backed by sound research, and to promote collective actions that represent the desires of the entire Finger Lakes region.
So today's service will deviate somewhat from our usual order of service. We won't do Spirit of Life today. Instead, I will have a song midway. I only recently stumbled on neurophilosophy, which is an attempt to find neurological explanations for some philosophical questions based on empirical science. This is just a broad swipe at some ideas that came to me when I started reading books by Patricia Churchland. I used some of her ideas and research in this talk. Obviously, there's much more to think about before I even know whether I really agree with their theories. As some of you have previously heard, when I was a child, I was taken to church regularly. It was a Unitarian church, one of only 2 integrated churches in Jacksonville, Florida at the time. I liked Sunday school. I liked singing hymns and especially Christmas carols. I felt welcome and safe. I was not required to believe anything about God. The point about not being required to believe in a fixed creed is really important. The emphasis there was on justice, which is the grown-up way of expressing fairness, which is taught to every 3-year-old. If justice is taught in the expanded framework of environmental and human rights, then a child's morality is based on real-world experiences. Our congregation drew from a large area, but was not diverse racially very much. We had a lot of academic and social work-oriented families of middle income. Our congregation was heavily involved in desegregating Jacksonville with the NAACP, tent meetings, protests, and voter campaigns. During Vietnam, we supported conscientious objectors and protested the war. Our UU congregation took up many progressive causes, and we became involved in feminism in regards to pay equity, double standards of behavior, and abortion rights. When the AIDS crisis hit, we adopted a stance in support of gay rights in health care and partnering, including gay marriage. We're active in Earth Day activities and encourage advocacy for affected communities. As a result of growing up in my particular family in this particular time and this specific congregation, I learned that I really loved church music and folk music, that I didn't have to take anyone else's word for anything to do with religion, and that I got a lot of approval for participating in the social justice work of our congregation. My parents and my congregation were my first exemplars of morality in action. Speaking of exemplars, Carl Sagan was an exemplar of the type of person I learned to consider wise. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was an exemplar of a righteous warrior for justice. They had completely different ideas of the forces behind humanity's activities on Earth. I could choose the critical thinking of Sagan and King's requirement for action as guideposts for how to be moral. Sagan, in a 1994 talk at a university, had a question and answer session afterwards, and somebody was quizzing him about his religious beliefs, such as did he believe in God? And paraphrasing here, he said, humans have created a mythological framework that often involves some kind of higher spiritual powers. And it seems harder and harder to prove that anything might exist like that. To which his questioner asked, where does that leave us? And Sagan said, on our own, which to my mind is much more responsible than hoping that someone will save us from ourselves so that we don't have to make our best efforts to do it ourselves. On our own does not mean alone. We are social in our morality, gathering strength and comfort from being and acting together. We have a tribe, and its warmth is real and heart-sustaining. Now let's listen to a song performed by Chelsea Musson from the Unitarian Universalist Church of Elgin.
Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. And I know it's gonna be a hard fight, but I will stay right here. I will shine a light in the darkest hour. I will face the man in the tallest tower. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. I will work, I will fight, I will strive in the name of love. I will speak, I will shout, I will sing it to the skies above. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. And I know it might be a long time before the last one of us is freed, but I will hold on tight, stay by your side. I will be with you for this whole damn ride. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they put push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you. I will walk, I will climb, shine my light the whole night through, because it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you.
So I want to pose a question. Would it change about how you think about right and wrong if you believe that humans decide this all on their own? One thing that's happened since that talk that Sagan was quizzed at is we've had a lot of brain science that has been developed. We automatically respond to certain chemicals. When pleasant things happen, the hormone oxytocin or dopamine is released in our brain. When painful things happen, serotonin is released. People are hardwired to respond to approval as pleasurable and to want to repeat these experiences while avoiding pain. Approved experiences become normative. That is, they set a baseline for what we think is normal and right. When pressed about belief in God, it's hard to say, I'm an atheist, because it actually raises your stress hormones. That's because here in the US, Christianity is normative, and saying you don't believe in God makes you abnormal. A UU can pass in some circles as being normative to God-believing people by using phrases such as belief in a higher power, or having spirituality, respecting everyone's search for their own truth, and other hedging phrases. I've used some of those kinds of things myself, usually saying I am a humanist agnostic, agnostic being the idea that because you can't prove whether God exists or not, you just keep that open in your mind as a possibility. In many religions, the watchdogs of normative behavior, who are the clergy, tell congregants that an omniscient God can see their thoughts as well as observe their behavior. This externalizes the enforcement of norms by making it seem supernatural, beyond mankind's ability to control. Regardless of what kind of religion it is, abiding by the religious norms reinforces the pleasure of belonging to a group. Sometimes a person forms opinions or acts in ways which are not normative to the religion. When the disconnect between the person and the espoused beliefs is great, a person may experience deep distress. You might call this religious dysphoria. In this case, a person may be driven to leave the religion, or they may try to stifle their own beliefs in order to reduce the pain of being non-normative. Persons who have come up in a religion that doesn't fit them anymore, feeling cast out or having rebelled in anger, often find UU beliefs and congregations a great relief. We UUs often remark on this, but we don't examine it much. Why would encountering a UU congregation produce relief? I think it's because we provide a new normative experience where distressed people can regain approval. Being involved in congregational life provides a group experience, thus a normative environment. A person is validated by big and little signs of approval from the group. Following our order of service, which has a series of rituals, provides regular doses of OxyContin, a bonding chemical, when we do something together that's expected, that we consider part of our normal service. And occasional blips of dopamine, which is a response to unexpected pleasure, like when we have an aha moment, perhaps because someone has said something that really makes us think, or because we've heard some music that really strikes us deeply. What about prayer? In a biological sense, here's a quote from an article on NBCnews.com titled, "Your Brain and Prayer and Meditation." When we pray, we can activate neural pathways we developed when young to release hormones such as oxytocin. Oxytocin is known for its role in maternal labor and lactation, but it also enables social trust and attachment, giving us a good feeling despite living in a world of threat. So our group rituals and meditations reinforce our feelings of being able to cope. Often people refer to having a sense of spirituality when they feel bonded and in a state of positive energy. Scientifically, both prayer and meditation seem to have many of the same effects on the levels of stress hormones. They reduce stress hormones. Reducing stress enables us to focus outward rather than to maintain a fight or flight hormone level focused on survival. So when our stress hormones are reduced and we feel able to cope, then we are open to new ideas and we are open to interacting with other people in a friendly way. But it's not all feelings and physical response. As a reason for attending church, there are a few better reasons than to reinforce what we think is important for achieving a better world. That's what sermons are for. We offer a wide range of perspectives on what is religious, and ordained and lay-led services with freedom of the pulpit mean that we hear many points of view. Making us think hard about our purpose and place in the universe, our ethics and morals, is what we value in our services. A good sermon gives us pause, and it urges us to action. It appeals to our intellects and to our hearts. Regardless of a belief in God, here we have a place to work together for justice and a common binding of words, songs, and rituals to orient us for this common work, not to mention coffee and potluck. To sum up, most of what we get from participating in a UU congregation, assuming that we like it well enough to continue attending, can be explained in terms of our body chemistry and neural activity. No God is required to give us the good feelings, and these feelings are as real and worthwhile as all other life experiences. We don't need to clothe our morality in the trappings of religion, but UU helps us stay balanced. Then there's the music. Besides feeling comfortable in normative behavior, a congregation provides the pleasant surprise of uplifting music. Our lyrics generally focus on striving for a better world, finding meaning in life, or sharing a faith with others. Singing together is a bonding experience. Singing releases endorphins. It makes us feel good. So let's do it. Now let us sing.
Our song is hymn number 368, Now Let Us Sing, by an anonymous composer. This is a two-part zipper song, which means that only one word changes in each verse. There are two parts. I'm going to sing the first part twice, and then we'll add the second part. Now let us sing, 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 and that line repeats. And then the next line is lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. And the second part is sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the faith within. Let's go. Yeah. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing, sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, lift up your voice. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Let us sing to the power of the joy within.
That should have made you feel pretty much in tune with the spirit of the congregation. So let's talk a little bit more about this idea of naked morality. Saying you're doing something because it's the right thing to do may spring from what you learned as a small child. You were grounded in some norm of morality before you even knew what the word morality meant. If you're acting for the betterment of the planet and humanity, you are acting morally, regardless of any religious framework. I'm going to give Carl Sagan the closing words here. We'll have a little time for discussion afterwards today in the group meeting if people want to discuss these ideas more. But let's wind up with Sagan and the way that I ultimately come out in deciding on my own morality. In regards to living a meaningful moral life, Sagan said, "We want to have self-esteem. Let's make a planet in which nobody is starving. Let's make a planet in which men and women have equal access to power. Let us make a planet in which no ethnic group has it over another ethnic group. Let's have a planet in which science and engineering is used for the benefit of everyone on the planet." Thank you, and let's go on out.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
All right. So for this morning, we'll wait just a few minutes before opening up the coffee rooms, just a couple minutes if folks are talking here. But then when you see the invitation to go to a room pop up on your screen, you can decide whether you'd rather stay in this main room longer or if you'd like to switch over to a smaller group discussion. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thanks. It's nice to have an opportunity to present a humanist point of view. I always revel in the opportunity, and this new idea of neurophilosophy was something I hadn't come across before. So it was kind of intriguing to me. I'd like to know what some other people think of it. Do you think our brain chemistry helps us understand why we have religions and why we have morality?